Hey, Mitch.
Oh, hi, Ed. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Hey, do you like the man from Atlantis?
Oh, yeah, I do. I love that Donald Glover. He was fantastic in Solo
No,
when he
no, no,
played
no, no,
Lando
no.
Calrissian.
I think you're thinking about the man from Atlanta. I'm talking about
Uh,
Patrick Duffy, the man from Atlantis.
oh, whoa. Back up.
What?
Atlantis. Dude,
Yeah.
that's my hometown. Didn't I ever tell you I was from Atlantis?
What? No, you're not.
Yes. Yeah, watch. I can show you how I can breathe underwater. Let me turn my water on over here.
Yep.
So what happened was I was just, born like everybody else, except I was underwater. And, I just kind of keep it a secret.
So can you like communicate with dolphins and things like that?
Oh, yeah. Fish and I are like this. Watch this. See, I'm summoning the fish right now.
Yeah, I think.
Oh, no. Not again.
Let's just start the show. Hi, this is Ed Dollister.
And this is Mitch Halleck.
And welcome to another exciting episode of Mitch and Ed's Excellent Adventure. If it's the first time you're here, thanks for joining us. If you're a regular viewer, thanks so much for coming back. But if you want to find out a little bit more about the show and maybe, when we've got a new episode coming, what can you do, Mitch?
Oh, Ed, it is as simple as baiting a hook and throwing it in the water and catching a minnow. All you got to do is subscribe to the Mitch and Ed show by simply hitting the button below, and you'll be notified when Ed and I go on another excellent adventure. And while you're down below, don't forget to like, because that makes us feel all warm and fuzzy, and plus helps the big almighty YouTube algorithms boost our show to higher heights and make us more popular. Speaking of higher heights, Ed, we're about to set sail and go to the deep blue to see the next adventure, which is what?
It is that there was a bit of a mixed metaphor going.
I know I was
going
going
up
to go
and
deep
below.
blue, up and down. Well, you got to go up some, you got to go down if you want to go up, but that's another story.
For a whole different show.
That's the business world. That's when we do Working Girl.
That's right. That is right. But we are talking about a much loved but short-lived. Well, is it much loved? Well, it is.
I know we'll be the description. Yeah.
Anyway, it's the 1977/1978 series, The Man from Atlantis. And this was a short-lived show, a high concept science fiction show. There weren't too many sci-fi shows in the 70s.
Oh, well, we could talk about that. There was a lot.
Well,
not as many as today, but there were not any good ones, but sure, they tried a couple times. But
well, they did. And this was certainly a unique concept. This was his first real major role, Patrick Duffy, that most people know from
Bobby Ewing from Dallas. Yeah, but that wasn't on yet. That was like late 78.
Yep.
79. That was a huge hit.
And the man
unlike this show.
Yeah, true. I mean, essentially, this show only ran for 13 proper episodes. I suppose there was 4 Tele Movies, which that was a big thing in the 70s. They used to do like a Tele Movie that would, I suppose, promote the show, and then hopefully they'd move it on to series. They did 4 of these, and essentially it was about a character called Mark Harris, who was found in the water, and we find out that he is the last survivor of Atlantis, and he had some unique properties. Did you watch this show when it came out?
I did, actually. I was a huge fan of this show because I am a big superhero fan, and we didn't have Namor, who's right there, the Submariner, and his little wings that make him fly that Ed thinks is stupid.
I do, because why does he need to fly? He's underwater.
Because,
is that a whole different
show?
Out
of water. When he gets out of water, he needs to fly, and he uses those little wings.
He can't fly like, just go coach or something like that. What's going on? Why doesn't he?
Aquaman can't fly, but Namor the Submariner can. Marvel's first hero, by the way. But that's a whole other story. This is the very first mutant in the Marvel universe. And look at the side of his head. Look at that. Looks like you know who?
Mr. Spock.
Yeah. And look at the eyebrows. They ripped off Mr. Spock from Namor. But that's another show. Anyway, I did watch The Man from Atlantis because I was a big sci-fi fan, and like you said, why there wasn't a lot of science fiction, there was a lot of these telemovies.
Yep.
And the Man from Atlantis just seemed like, this is cool. And of course, we're in 77. We got Star Wars is out. So there's a whole renaissance about to take place for the world of sci-fi and fantasy. And it was a cool first episode TV movie. I mean, like you said, they found Mark Harris not washed up actor, but washed up on shore. And he didn't know who he was. So there was this whole mystery about how did he get that way. And he had these webbed hands, when he spread his fingers apart, they were webbed. And he also had these yellowish eye contacts, which is another thing they don't talk about.
And just can I just say about those contacts, just because those contacts were the bane of his existence,
hard ones,
because they were plastic and they were hand painted with aeroplane paint. So what they paint on the side of airplanes, so
it doesn't sound very, for somebody who's had some eye trouble recently, that doesn't sound like the smartest.
No, it was very painful, and he often said he didn't want to wear them, but he was a new lead.
No, you got to do it,
so he had to do it,
trying to make a name. I mean, look at what we do on this show.
That's right. We're wearing those yellow bathers under this. You just
those trunks. I've got them on right now. And plus you have that unique way of swimming too, which was kind of like,
I've got to say, that's how I know this show had an impact on me, because we used to go to there was Cardinia Park, which is like a public swimming pool. We live reasonably close to the beach and Eastern Beach and things like that, but we always used to go to Cardinia Park, and I, as a 7-year-old, would try and swim like him. That was pretty unique, and actually it was a quite fun way to swim, I gotta say.
Was that the Australian crawl?
Not exactly.
That's a swim.
It is a swimming. Well done. It's also a classic Aussie band.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Aussie Crawl. Aussie Crawl.
Nothing to do with the Man from Atlantis, but anyway,
so reckless. But anyway.
It was a good show, because I'll tell you, it had a lot of high concept stuff. The other members of the cast, and I remember them quite well, that's how much that show impacted me, was Alan Fudge. Well, let's go back a bit. There was this Oceanic group, like a research group.
Yes, and they had like the submarine, the Cetacean, which was
the Cetacean,
which was Cetaceous or Cetacean, which was underwater. The model work was really quite good for a TV
it was these it looked like these 4 ball things that were joined together. The submarine, the model was really well done. I mean,
did you have the toy Capsella in America?
No, I was gonna say they had maybe one toy, I think, of this show. There was
I'm just saying that Capsella was a toy that was pods that you could put together, and I remember it looked like that. So
you know what? No, now that you're talking about it, there was I've talked about these toys before, the Micronauts that were from Japan, and they had like this bubble like water thing that you could connect, and you can make it go underwater like a water submarine type of thing. But now that you think of it, for some reason, I kept thinking the name of that submarine was the Coelacanth, which is that fish that they found that they thought was extinct for millions of years, and they found it off the coast of India. I thought that was the name of the sub, but you're right. It's called the Cetaceous. Somebody had a sub called the Coelacanth. Now I don't know if it was on that DS9. What was that deep sea thing? The
Sequest DSV. Sequest
DSV. Yeah, I was like,
you're thinking Sequest SVU or whatever.
No, then the DS9. But listen to me. There was another submarine show on before this, which was about Captain Nemo, and it had Mel Ferrar, who was Jose Ferrar's. Yes.
Now the funny thing, because we are off the rails. I'm sorry.
No. Because I watched that show.
Yes.
And I really enjoyed it. And it was Mel Ferrar, and I'm friends with his nephew, Raphael Ferrar, who's George Clooney's cousin, who lives right up the street in Westport. Not George Clooney, but Raphael. And we talked about that, and that's his like. That's
now that had didn't it have like a robot or something like that with a like the metal sea diving helmet that looked
yeah, like 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
Because Kelly and I just watched on Disney Plus 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea with James.
Oh, that was the very. And here's a little here's a little Mitch trivia for you.
Yeah.
Very first movie I ever saw in the movie theaters
Really?
was 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, because they would bring them out because there was no DVDs or VHS and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So Disney would bring movies out every couple years. They'd take them out of the vault. They'd put them in theaters again. So they would constantly like show Sleeping Beauty, Snow White, Bambi. They would always bring them out because every couple years there'd be a new bunch of kids that hadn't seen them. So they were like, hey, don't make new movies. Bring out the old movies. And I wanted to go see 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea so bad because I saw the commercial for it that my grandma Amelia took me to see that. And that was the very first movie I ever saw. Neither here nor there, but
no,
great
still
movie. I actually
still holds up.
I love that. Love it. Oh yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Kirk Douglas. Yeah. But anyway,
So,
back
fast
to
forward back to 1977.
No. So the show comes on, and you're right. It was a TV movie, and Victor Buono, who people might remember from King Tut out of the Batman show, who was a big fella and he had a big beard and he talked like this on the Batman show. He had a really great died tragically young, like 42 years old or something. Because when I found that out, I go, oh my God, he was only 42? Because I thought he was a lot older, but he looked older. But yeah, unfortunately, he passed away not too long after the show ended, actually. I think he died like 79 or whatever. But he was the bad guy. His name was
Mr.
Sherbert.
Mr. Sherbert.
Sherbert is the ice cream that got him to look that way that might have caused his early demise. That's neither here nor there. But Schubert was the bad guy. And Belinda Montgomery was Elizabeth. Was she related to Elizabeth Montgomery?
I thought that too. She does have siblings who are actors, but not Elizabeth Montgomery, because she looks, I mean, you could think that they could be sisters. Yeah. I mean, she's really best known as maybe to, well, not necessarily modern audiences, as Doogie Howser's mum. So
yeah, I remember years later saying, hey, that's the lady from Man from Atlantis. And we can get into that too in a second too, because she did not like being on that show so much that she sued the producers to get out of her contract. Talk about not wanting to be part of the show.
And
I've
she
been
got out
for years, and I'm on the show for 2 years.
I know. I just have better lawyers than you. So
I know.
Basically, she left during the 12th episode, so they got in a replacement, and it got axed.
Chuck Cunningham. They could have. He was out of work, so why not? You know.
Yep. Alan Fudge.
No, what did we talk about? Alan Fudge?
No,
we did not talk.
Okay,
about
so Alan Fudge, I suppose, to me, is best known from that wonderful MASH episode
as Captain Jesus Christ.
Yes.
That's not swearing. He thought he was Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Yes. He was a bomber pilot and he got hit in the head. So yeah. Yeah, no, he was fantastic. Little known fact, Alan Fudge
lives in Connecticut.
No. Maybe. I don't know. He did just pass away recently, actually. I looked it up because I'm like, he was a great character actor. You'll see Alan Fudge in so many movies when you're watching TV and stuff. You're like, hey, that's Alan Fudge. But he was up for the part of BJ Honeycutt in MASH. It was between him and James Cromwell from Babe, the Talking Pig movie. And it went to Mike Farrell. Again, none of this has to do anything. So not only does he show up with the amnesia and stuff, and then they've tried figuring out, they get him wet,
and they give him the doctor gives him the name of Mark Harris. You know, he's
Mark Harris. That's correct. Yes, right. Not there's another famous Mark Harris, but that's another story. But anyway, Mark Harris, he had some weird insignia on his bathing trunks, on his bathing suit, and it looked like a weird question mark. Wasn't a Speedo. It was like they were trunks. They were not like Speedos. They weren't like this. Yeah, they actually came down a little bit.
Budgie smugglers. I think we've spoken about this before.
Banana hammocks. They weren't banana hammocks like this right here. But anyway, he had some weird insignia. And I bring this up because that weird insignia also looks like the same thing Mr. Spock has on his robes in Star Trek 3, The Search for Spock. And I used to think, is that the same thing? But I digress. It was not. The producer of this program is a man named Herbert Solow. Solow, I believe that's his name.
Solo.
And they had Han Solo. They had such success with this first episode, they went ahead and made another TV movie. I think the second one was called Deadly Spores, which was a really good science fiction story. And then they did it so much, they did a third one. Honestly, they had the right idea to keep doing these standalone TV movies with the adventures of Mark Harris, the man from Atlantis, because they were like little tiny chapters in a book, like that's good. But like with everything, some knucklehead said, let's make it a weekly series. And really fast, it showed that it didn't have the legs or the fins to sustain itself, to tread water for that long. And it quickly fell into camp buffoonery, stupidity.
Kind of like our show.
It's unfortunate. No, it's sad. It's one of these things you watch and everybody was really good in it. And it just went right downhill really fast, you know?
Yeah, so. It started off really good. I think I don't know if they were targeting it to maybe a younger audience or what, but once you got the two-headed
dancing seahorse, yeah.
Which in its defense, it actually didn't look too bad.
No, it didn't. But when he throws it,
it was 4'5", and
it was a little person.
It whinnied.
Well, I figured it was a kid inside with his arms
with his arms doing
making the head move like that, you know. But when he throws it a stick and it picks up the stick and puts it down like a dog, I was like, what?
It was just, misunderstood. That's all.
And then what happened is Victor Buono kept coming back like every couple weeks with another plan to take over the world. I think at one point he wanted to melt the ice caps and flood the entire Earth. That was his plot.
Well, mission accomplished.
Hey, good luck, buddy. Too bad you weren't here to see it. But no, it's like, oh, Mr. Sherbert, you're here again. I'm like, yeah. And then Alan Fudge was always kind of like the Oscar Goldman of the show. He was kind of like, you can't do that. And then I think he was reluctant to go on board the submarine. If I recall the show, he didn't want to go in the water, but then he was on there, and I don't know. It was really cool when they made him go in the water, though. They'd bring him to the submarine and they'd flood the tank, and he'd go under and he'd swim like that.
Or in the pilot when he was swimming with the dolphins and jumped up and actually. So there's some nice effects in there, and
there is, and I tell you, Patrick Duffy,
I think.
Patrick Duffy sells it because he's a very good actor and he takes it seriously in the dialogue, and he was great shape too. I mean, let's not knock it. Not everybody can swim like that, but he was really good at it. And the chemistry, I thought it was really well done between him and Belinda Montgomery. I thought he and Elizabeth, the characters, Mark Harrison, they were great. She was falling in love with him. He didn't know where his world was, but like I said, that weekly series just killed that thing, man.
Yeah,
just put a hook in it.
And it was a shame because it actually was a hit overseas. It was really quite popular.
Really?
Yeah, it was quite popular overseas. And of course, once they finished it here, it's not like today. I mean, it's very rare. I know that with Wonder Woman, that obviously jumped networks and things like that. But it wasn't, that huge a phenomenon to obviously, to get it, jump to another network or something like that. They were looking at making, merchandising and things like that.
Oh, well, I got a story about that.
Okay.
There's a company, I can't think of the name. It's a person's name. I think they were based in England, if I remember. They were the guys that, was it Plastoys? What's the name of the company?
Are you thinking of Palatoy?
Palatoys. This guy had something to do with them. They went to him and offered him Star Wars to make these figures. He was a guy, I'm trying to remember if he made Doctor Who figure. I think he made Doctor Who figures.
Palatoy made, I'm pretty sure, Doctor Who figures, yeah.
Yeah, this is the same guy. And they went to him and they said, oh, would you like the Star Wars license? And he turned it down for the Man from Atlantis. He thought that was going to be the next big toy. So he actually rejected Star Wars to take up this property.
And
I think he shot himself soon after that. But
so basically Kenner was looking at making Man from Atlantis toys, and it made some prototypes. They did they had a Mark Harris, they had you can see the casting of the Victor Buono Mr. Schubert figures, and they made the they made the Cetaceous as well. And when the series ended, so they quickly do what do we do with these toys? So they moved that into a new line of toys called Scuba Squad.
Really?
I'll put up of the pictures that you're seeing at the moment of a great website called Plaid Stallions, so you can have a look there.
Yes.
They've got more information about that. So really there wasn't a lot of merchandise. There is a very rare in fact, it wasn't even in production lunchbox.
I was gonna say I've seen pictures of a lunchbox.
So that is like there's only like 4 of them, and one most recently sold for thousands of dollars on eBay because there's only like 4 in existence.
All right. Well,
there were novels we're not talking about
a bunch of novels.
Patrick Duffy later on wrote a novel, The Man from Atlantis.
A sequel to it. Yep. Yes, I actually had that book recently.
But there were a number of books based on the Tele Movies, and there was a comic series, of course.
Of course, that's what I was going to get to. Marvel Comics put out A Man from Atlantis. First, it was a giant size super special, #1, which was a thicker book. Beautiful cover.
Yep.
I'm going to say the artist on it. It's got him swimming on the cover like that. I'm going to say it's Rich Buckler or maybe Ron Wilson. You don't know who that is, but I know. But they're comic book guys. And I bought the book. I was so excited. The covers look so great. However, the inside were done by some of the worst teams in comic books. It was Frank Springer and Frank Robbins. I'm sure they were great guys in real life, but they were horrible. The artwork, I remember literally picking up the book and go, and you couldn't even read it because it was so like, one of the guys, I think Frank Robbins, was from World War II. He was an artist back in the 40s, and then he lost his eye, and they still kept giving him work and such. But he had a style that might have been great in the 40s, but it did not play in modern 70s, you know. Yeah. But yeah, the Man from Atlantis comic book, I think it lasted 8 issues. I actually have them all. That's how stupid I am, but they're buried, and I didn't feel like digging it up. But I don't know why they never made a sequel to this years later, because like you said, it's a good story. It had some good premises, and you would think with Aquaman and the Submariner, and why not?
Yep.
Everything's old is new again.
I'm sure they're probably,
God, whatever you had is catching, man.
It's you should have dried off before you did that underwater.
I know
at the start.
This is a dream.
It did have some good guest stars: Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Ted Cassidy, Pat Morita. There are some familiar faces.
Oh my God, Pat Morita played this little magical imp, and he was like their version of Mr. Mxyzptlk, the guy that would bother Superman on Smallville and all that, the little elf type of character. Yes, I forgot when you just said that, Pat Morita. Oh my God, I could close my eyes and see him now. He'd show up like, hee. Let's do some fun magic. I told you the show didn't know what it wanted to be. It started to become like Batman, not the Batman 89, but the Batman 66. Yes. It literally turned into a kid's show. Yep. Maybe that's why Belinda Montgomery was trying to bail out.
Yep. So the good thing is, though, you can find Warner Archives brought out the pilot movie on Blu-ray, and there was a DVD release of it, but it's hard to find, like a complete series or anything.
No,
like
I thought it was like 2019. It's not too long ago.
Yeah, so you can still get the Warner Archives one if you are interested. The comics, I'm sure, are pretty much available.
They're pretty available.
Put them on eBay after this episode, so
you can get them in the dollar bins if you really want, and maybe the novels too. I'm sure they're all over eBay.
Yeah, so but they've got some cool, cover art at least. And if you do want to delve a bit deeper into the Man from Atlantis, there is some stuff there. It's still a fun series, a snapshot. I always just like watching it for the 70s fashion and the those guest actors. You know who was had a minus of was an extra, a really bit part in it? Ernie Hudson.
Harrison Ford.
No, Ernie Hudson. Though Patrick Duffy was a carpenter before he started this, but
no, wait, Ernie Hudson is on The Man from Atlantis?
Yep.
Oh, that's interesting. And like I said, if you really want to read more, go to this the Seahorse's Mouth. Get the Patrick Duffy book. That I think you can get that on eBay.
Yep.
Or not eBay. I'm sorry, Amazon.
And it's on Amazon for about $10. So you can.
Yeah, it's pretty good. He's honestly Patrick Duffy. Years he played Bobby Ewing on Dallas. Worldwide fame.
What was the sitcom he was in?
I was just gonna say he was in a sitcom too.
It ran for like eight years or 8
was
seasons.
It with Kate Jackson? No, I'm thinking of Bruce Boxleitner, Scarecrow, and Mrs. King.
Yeah.
But no, Patrick Duffy was on. You'll make it come up right now.
Yeah, it was a Full House sort of style thing, but it ran. Yeah, it was quite popular and ran. And he's got comedic chops as well. And
he's a very, very, very nice man. I've seen him on shows and interviews. It's one of those things. He's very genuine.
Yeah.
And he seems like a very decent guy. I think he lives in Oregon now. I've seen him recently. He's got like a ponytail and a mustache. He's out there.
Out there on
I'm
the
surprised
range.
he's not on the. I'm surprised he's not on the Comic-Con circuit. Because I always get asked, like, bring actors back to Terrificon.
Well, maybe you could get him to Terrificon one day.
Maybe. I mean, you'd get the Dallas people and you'd get the Man from Atlantis fans.
That's right. That's good. I'm sure Belinda Montgomery, who's now a painter, I'm sure she'd be happy to catch
and
up.
she's like I said, the Doogie Howser folks would come out and see her. And like I said, unfortunately, Alan Fudge is gone. Victor Buono's gone. Pat Morita, a lot of the co-stars and stuff.
But you could get Ernie Hudson as well. There you go. It's a Man from Atlantis reunion.
Get the submarine. Probably put it in my bathtub. Play with that.
It's probably that big, actually. That's how big it was. So you never know. So you can find out a little bit more about the Man from Atlantis if you search it. It's fun. It's a little camp, but that's what makes it fun. It's also fun finding out some of our past episodes on some classic 70s TV series as well. What can you do to do that, Mitch?
Oh, Ed, it's easy as strapping yourself into a tight pair of yellow swim trunks and hitting that ice cold water and watching things shrink. All you got to do is hit the button below, and you too will be on YouTube watching Mitch and Ed go on excellent adventures, whether it's Battlestar Galactica, $6 Million Man, The Night Stalker, or a whole bevy of 70 grades plus like Starsky and Hutch. And then now and then we talk about modern day stuff like Loki. I think that's please watch that Loki show. Make it
just
go.
Watch it just watch our Loki episode.
Two more. I just need two more.
That's for the opening because the opening's really good.
The Loki, yeah, it was pretty good. Just watch the openings if you want.
Yeah, that's okay. Anyway,
this ring could have saved one more viewer. That's Schindler's List. That's another episode. We haven't gone there yet.
No, we won't either. Anyway, that's it. That's it for this episode. We look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks so much for watching. This is Ed Dollister.
This is Mitch Halleck saying,
why has he got wings? I will see you and Mitch next time. Thanks for watching. Take care.
Goodbye.